Hey, well, welcome back to the channel, guys. And today's deal of the week is on the workbench. But before we get to that, my son Michael finally sent me this. Arrived today. You know, I'm a big Godzilla fan, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice and little frame. Nice. All right. So, deal of the week is a functioning guitar to some degree for $70. What are my plans for this? Well, this is a J Turser. Yeah, it's a J Turser vintage series. They make pretty decent, inexpensive guitar. I like the classic tuners, which means you can get a better brand depending on how much these suck. I imagine this is made in China, just like everything else. High gloss, back of the neck. We're going to sand that down. But as far as the quality of the wood, that's actually pretty nice. It's definitely real rosewood. It's not some fake crap. Nothing composite happening here. I don't know what kind of pickups or bridge. Everything's kind of mucky here. But what's cool about this guitar for only $70, again, you know, kind of like what Philip McKnight said. If I'm not on Reverb, I'm on Facebook Marketplace. If I'm not on Facebook Marketplace, I'm on Craigslist. And that's the rotation, you know, or I'm on Guitar Center online. And this is a real pretty blue. And it's going to clean up really well. And I'm anxious to see what kind of gunk is underneath here. But another reason why I bought this is my friend Gene Amet gave me some really nice pickups. And this would be a great place to put some original Fender pickups. In fact, this guitar looks a lot like those made in Japan Fenders with the nice blue bodies and the dark rosewood, and usually those are in that $500 range. But man, what a pretty blue. Really tight metallic. This is going to clean up really nice. The saddles aren't bad. Low profile screws in there, but we're going to clean her up. And just to let you know, let's just take a peek, because J Turser, yeah, I once had a Les Paul style guitar from this guy, manufacturer, and I traded a bunch of guitar parts because some guy was really hot on it. I didn't like it only because it was just too heavy, not my kind of thing. And but some guy traded me a bunch of guitar parts that I put together a guitar with it, and I basically ended up selling that. But it was fun. It was a good project. What kind of nut is on here? Yeah, it looks plastic. I'm gonna say that's plastic, but it's cut pretty well. I don't think it's imitation. The hell? Bone. What's this? Close up of my finger. It's got some skin hanging off of the corner. That's not pretty, Todd. Get your cuticles in gear. But 2 string trees, some ugly strings, but she's going to clean up nice. And this is going to be an easy fix. You know, going to clean it out. And also on the workbench, I got everything. Look, for 15 years I've been, or more, I've been using a box. This was always I've had this toolbox, cardboard box for, you know, talk about complacency. I've used that to put all my tools in for a better part of 10 years. What a dumbass. Anyway, now that I'm older and a little bit more mature, I got everything squared away. So in my first drawer, I put everything that I commonly use right off the bat. And then in my second drawer, I put all of my screws and miscellaneous stuff in these little plastic containers from Amazon. So no more guitar pickup containers, you know. So and then in my third drawer, I have some cables, miscellaneous stuff, you know, things that I don't randomly use a lot. It all depends, but at least they're in a drawer. Random tools that I don't commonly use a lot, but so, and then on and on. So, and then some stuff for working on sandpaper, some strings, files, fret rockers, string height, some tape, bunch of tuners. You know, I got all these tuners for free when people gave me their stuff. And some of these are good, man. These were like USB. This was a real nice one. These were expensive. Ernie Ball. This Super Shark, which is it's rechargeable. And this one too is another one. Yeah, I got these all for free. I don't even use them. I should, but you know, I use my tuner for. Anyway, it's enough rambling. Let's take a look. I'm just curious, what kind of pickups could this possibly have? Let's take a peek. Okay, I just have to point this out. You know, some people, I find it very interesting. You know, they're such beginners that when they decided to put strings on here, they just don't know what they're doing. And all of them are like that. They don't know to push the string in there, but can you imagine? They're just laying across. I mean, that works, but it's not the way you do it, people. Yeah, crazy, right? Okay, taking off the back plate. You know, the back plate actually looks nice. It's not, the plastic is a little graded looking instead of it just being flat, like a piece of crap. You know, I'm not expecting much. I'm just like, But I actually like it because it's got a different texture. It's not your typical piece of plastic black back plate that you would find on a Fender Squire, even a Fender. Okay, we have the triangular 3. Well, at least the ground wire is intact. Nothing special in there. Very typical bridge. Nothing special in there. But we'll push these nasty strings through. They're very oxidized, but yeah, they almost look like the strings that come on most Firefly guitars and imported crap. But man, what a pretty blue. That is there any way to figure out exactly what materials are being used here? Probably not. I mean, I don't think there's a database on this. There might be, but I doubt it. Absolutely 0 fret spurs. I think all I need to do to this is just get the fret eraser and clean it off, really. But that's not what we're here for. This has been around a while. The guy I bought it from lived in Temecula, and this was his wife's. And supposedly he's telling me that she's got like 8 other guitars. One of them is a 25-year-old Fender, and I told him, yeah, I just bought a Fender that's about. And this, I'm pretty sure was white at one time, but it's got a lot of patina. It may be a natural, or maybe it's not. But everything looks old, like it's been around a while. You know, it's not something that's just a couple years old. This has been around a while. So And again, the pickup covers themselves have that very coarse looking material. So what surprises what might we have here? Huh. Well, nothing spectacular. Some frayed wires. Pickguard is actually nice. The pickguard is reusable. A decent cavity. We'll never be able to make out the wood. Is it gonna go this way? Yeah. 5-way selector. But right here where the wire is coming out from these pickups, this one is a little frayed. I can't imagine how much they're not wounded, the covers over that. Dime-sized pots, you know, definitely need to be cleaned out. Definitely original soldering. I don't see that this has been messed around with. Let's just see what one of these pickups looks like with the cover off. I'm gonna say very, very cheap. Now there's no magnet underneath the single coil, and so this is an interesting ceramic, because you know you've seen the Japanese one, or the ones from China. You know, they usually have a big fat stupid magnet underneath the bottom of it. I'll take these out. I'm probably going to use this pickguard again. But are these sealed? No way. They feel like they're sealed. You know, there's a little I've never seen that. You know, where you can't really. Do I have anything here that's gonna break that? They have a little something right here that's kind of holding this together. But look, there's a wire right here. You know, it probably doesn't work, is my feeling. What the hell, man? I've never seen anything like this. Yeah, they're that's crazy. Like, how do you open that? What the fuck? So there's the magnet. This is just like some cover. Yeah, these are really like, they don't really wait, but there's the magnet. I guess you would say that these are just kind of like shielding the magnet. Yeah. Well, with all these frayed wires coming out of it, I'm gonna say no. You know, it's never good that the wires are already fractured. You know, definitely already fractured. ROS, so it's a different, very interesting. And then there's no way these are coming out. You know, they're pretty much in there. I wish they would come out. Let's see if I can just press one out. If not, we'll just end the video, because there's no, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this nonsense. You know, it's not worth it. Definitely is not worth the hassle. Well, that kind of freed it up. There we go. Well, it actually pushed the magnet out. That's all it really did. What a crazy setup, you know? And I hate to just start sticking stuff in there and ruin it. I mean, the pickup is already kind of ruined. It could be, but this frayed wire stop is like, you'd have to glob some solder on there. There's definitely some fragments of wire, but it's like, this is not going to, it's probably glued in here, you know? Because all this is doing is pushing the magnet out. You see? Just a magnet, and it's not a very big magnet, that's for sure. So, interesting. But they're not very heavy. Yeah, I'm not going to use these. I don't even want to hassle it, you know. I'm just going to use the pick guard because it's a match, and we'll just use my friend's pickup, which I needed to do anyway. Hold on. So this is the one I got from my friend Gene. Now, from what I remember, this pot is no longer good, but I do have CTS pots, so I'm just going to transfer everything over to here and put a new pot on it, and that should rectify that. Gonna leave the covers, because the covers here, I might have some covers, and since that's kind of a, I might have some of these type of covers. In fact, I'm gonna say I do kind of keep it like that. But so that'll give me something to do. I mean, for 70 bucks, you get a nice 3-ply pick guard. That's a nice pick guard, actually. The knobs are reusable. Even this imported selector can be reused. You know, it's not bad. This whole assembly could be used, because how many imports you have that use these dime-sized pots? Are they any good? Who the hell knows? But I'd rather use the Fender full-size pots, since it will definitely accommodate it. It will definitely accommodate it. What kind of wood is this? I don't know, but it's 2-ply here, like it's sandwich. So there's a cut here, like that. It's a sandwich ply. Yeah. There's some goo, like, I don't know what this goo is. But yeah, we'll take care of all that. But man, the blue is so pretty. Let's just clean a little spot and end the video. But this blue is really, really nice. You know. When I saw this guitar, I was like, I'm surprised it's still for sale. Like, you're not going to see this color too often on any used guitar, really. Man, it's really like a nice, deep, metallic blue. If you guys can see that, it's a really nice paint job. But that's my project. It's not going to take me long. It's something I love to spend a little time on. I'm definitely not going to waste my time on this stuff. Pickguard we're going to reuse. I cleaned it all up. Just sand the back of the neck a little bit. Are the tuners any good? Probably not. But you know, I worry about tuners after I get the guitar set up. This E, A. This one for the D is really loose. It's not even firm. Yeah, This probably got a lot of slippage right here, but it's got a nice neck. No dings, no dents. Nice piece of rosewood. Doesn't look fake to me at all. Decent bridge, like anything else you're going to see. And is it solid body? Well, do you call a sandwich guitar body solid? Kinda, yes and no. And that's kind of, Gibsons are made by stacking wood on top of wood, so, but yeah. All right, guys, well, thanks for hanging out. Again, the deal of the week is this bad boy. I'm going to turn on my solder gun and get to working, and then we'll do a video with after this is in there, you know. But I have to replace the pot here and go over all of my solder joints. I think this is all good, because these are from 1991 and they actually sounded really good before that pot went out. So all right, thanks for hanging out, and have a blessed week, and welcome to Guitar of the Week. Yeah, for $70, I mean, I think it's a nice looking guitar, really pretty blue. And if it sounds anything like a real Fender would, which it's going to, then that's really is the battle, you know. Things that you can do for yourself. The neck needs absolutely no work. Just clean it up, hydrate the neck, and just sand up a little bit of the back with some 1000 grit paper. But I think that's the original color. It's made of the same material. You can see how much it's faded. A lot. So this was out in the sun because it's, yeah, but it's nice looking. And it looks the part too. Fender made a lot of guitars like this, and a lot of their guitars were in this shade of color. The pickguard was like a cream, so it's nice. So yeah, what the hell, man. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. And for $70, you know, you're always shopping around and you never know what you're gonna find. I had to go to San Diego anyway, so I hooked up with this guy and we got the deal done. Really nice dude. Talked a little bit about guitars, and but man, what a nice instrument, you know. Is it perfect? No, but it's got good bone. It's got a great paint job. And $70, I mean, you know. And I even got the original whammy bar. So, and I got a gig bag with it too. So I think that's a good deal for $70, you know. And we're gonna treat her nice, and maybe she'll give us some love back. We'll see. All right. Take care, and thanks for hanging out. Have a blessed week. Take care.